Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investor. We are looking at IPO season once again. We've seen big IPOs, Circle, Bullish, all performed very well. Can we have a few more left in the can? Well, we've got 3 IPOs coming up. We've got Gemini, we've got Klarna, and we've also got one more. Plus, we've got Crypto.com possibly IPOing. So let me give you all the news and all the information you need to know ahead of next week's IPOs. So let's get straight into it. Remember, this is all from our very own newsletter. First link in the description. If you want all the information, we'll be covering each and every single one of these in much more detail before the IPO. So if you want to know all of their balance sheets, how to buy them, everything you need to know about these specific companies, go and check the newsletter. First link in the description. So major IPO wave builds momentum for next week. What are we talking about? Well, the upcoming week is shaping up to be the most active for IPOs in 2025, with 3 major tech companies and fintechs debut targeting over 2.1 billion in combined proceeds. Leading the charge, my favorite is Gemini, the crypto exchange founded by the Winklevoss twins, seeking 317 million through the sale of 16.67 million shares priced between $17 and $19, aiming for about a $2.2 billion valuation. That's fairly small compared to other IPOs we've seen. We've seen Bullish, which is currently at a, let me just bring up Bullish, which is another crypto exchange for institutional grade investors, which is trading at about an $8 billion valuation. We've seen Circle, which is now trading at a $27 billion valuation. Remember, both of these are down over 50% from their highs. What else have we seen IPO? Can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but if you look at something like Coinbase as well, what's that trading at? Coinbase is trading at a $77 billion market capitalization. So when you look at 2.22, it's pretty low in my opinion. Again, close to the time, we'll get some more understanding if they increase that price and increase the amount of shares being released. But right now, at a $2.2 billion valuation, that's very attractive to me. Remember, nothing I say is financial advice. Is my thoughts and opinions only. Please do not buy or sell based on anything I say. It's also backed by 142 million in 2024 revenue, up from 98 billion in 2023. Gemini is set to list as ticker symbol GEMI on NASDAQ beginning September the 12th, with Goldman Sachs, Citigroup and Morgan Stanley as lead underwriters. Meanwhile, Figure Technologies, the next IPO, a blockchain-based lending firm founded by ex-SoFi CEO Mike Cagney, will offer 26.3 million shares at an $18 to $20, seeking to raise 526 million, with 190 million in the first half of 2025 revenue and 29 million profit. Figure will debut as ticker symbol FIGR on NASDAQ September the 11th. So this is all happening very soon. Also do remember we're coming on to Crypto.com, which there's now rumors that Crypto.com are going to go an IPO as well. The most ambitious raise comes from Klarna Group, which aims to secure 1.27 billion via 34 million shares priced at $35 to $37, targeting a $14 billion valuation. Klarna delayed earlier this year due to tariff uncertainties. It reported 823 million in Q2 revenue, marking 20% year-on-year growth and a base of 111 million active users. Trading starts September the 10th on the New York Stock Exchange under ticker symbol KLAR. The trio's performance will test investor appetite amid a broader IPO rebound, with 41.58 billion raised year to date, the strongest since 2021. Recent blockbuster debuts by Circle, 168% day one, and Bullish, an 84% surge, reflect renewed enthusiasm for digital finance plays, even as Klarna valuation compresses from 45.6 million in 2021 peak. I'm very bullish on Klarna. and even more so on Gemini. Klarna, I wouldn't be bullish long term because we've seen how these buy now, pay laters, such as what was Affirm, have done previously after IPOs. But I think all of these will probably bounce or go very high in their first day of trading. So I am gonna, if there is a way to get involved in the UK, I probably will. Again, not financial advice. But the other one we want to come on to, remember, if you're an XRP fan, we just did a video on WeBus partnering with Air China on XRP enabled travel. Go check that out. The other story in the newsletter is Crypto.com eyes IPO after 1.5 billion revenue year. So Crypto.com CEO Chris has revealed the exchange is weighing on an IPO following a blockbuster 1.5 billion in 2024 revenue, telling Bloomberg the company has the numbers to go public. Chris noted that while the exchange remains privately held, multiple top-tier investment banks have approached with IPO interest. The Singapore-based firm reported 1 billion in gross profit, of which 700 million was reinvested into operations, leaving 300 million in net profits. The company is also exploring new growth vectors, including 6.4 billion Kronos treasury strategy in partnership with Trump Media. That's why I am a holder of CRO token. Chris projected 2025 will outperform 2024, particularly if the Federal Reserve cuts interest rates as it's at its September the 17th meeting. He cited that 57% of the market rally between September and December 2024, when the Fed last eased rates from 5.5 to 4.5, adding optimism for a Q4 surge. The potential IPO would place Crypto.com alongside Coinbase and Robinhood in public equity markets, giving investors regulated exposure to crypto trading revenue. As Chris puts it on Bloomberg Tech, the timing may be quite tempting as macro conditions align with crypto's favor. This is from an interview he did with Bloomberg. Let's just listen into a few bits.
Where did the idea come from to do this, of a Kronos treasury company? Where did it originate?
I think it's a little bit of a trend by now, and pioneered by Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy. And I think every single blockchain from the top, say 20, will have a leading treasury company that will be focusing on driving demand for it and acquiring as much as physically possible. And we thought that partnering with Trump Media to do so is just the perfect match.
So there are a number of initiatives between Crypto.com and
Remember, Crypto.com has partnered a lot with Trump Media. Now they've got a treasury in place. Now Crypto.com is buying some of the DJT shares. Trump Media is now buying some of the CRO token. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes and a massive partnership there between Trump Media and Crypto.com.
And Trump Media, or the broader Trump family, where did that relationship start? Who did you first meet, and how long have you held those relationships?
So I think it dates back a couple of years, and we always look forward to working with people who are pro-crypto, who want to help drive this industry forward. And I think
I'm going to skip forward a little bit.
Extension of a relationship that broadens out to ETFs, that broadens out to payments and subscription creation, but it also broadens out the conversation that people are having about, more broadly, benefits to the Trump's broader family when it comes to crypto, Chris. When you're having those conversations with friends, with family, how do you talk about whether or not there might be any conflicts of interest, which I will reiterate, the family and indeed spokespeople for the administration would say there are none?
And you have to agree with their statement, because everything is held in blind trust, and this is a published company that operates independently, and we are still a privately held company. It's quite tempting to consider these options, given how richly the market values crypto companies these days. We certainly have the numbers to do so. We certainly have the numbers.
Selling parts of the business? Gemini and the like, would you ever think of an IPO? Would you say
here's the IPO question.
What are the plans for Crypto.com more broadly? We're just hearing of IPOs of Gemini and the like. Would you ever think of an IPO? Would you ever think about selling parts of the business?
Right. I have to admit, it's quite tempting to consider these options, given how richly the market values crypto companies these days. We certainly have the numbers to do so. We've done about 1.5 billion in revenue last year, about $1 billion in gross profit, reinvested about 700 million of it, so let's say 300 million net profitability. This year, I think it's going to be better, especially if we see the Fed rate cut and a strong Q4 following. So we have the numbers, and we've been approached by all the top names in terms of the investment banks. We want to be a very well-run company, so we are working on preparing everything, but no decisions have been made at this point. We think that
there it is. It looks like he is very tempted to IPO. If you do want to go see the whole video, if you just type in crypto.com CEO, says he's tempted to IPO. It's a interview with Bloomberg. So yeah, that is always good. I mean, crypto.com IPO will be massive. They actually make a lot of money compared to some exchanges that actually lose money. So that's my story on crypto.com. We'll be covering it more. There's a lot of IPOs we're covering next week, so keep an eye out on this channel. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the like button. We'll be covering every other IPO and if crypto.com IPOs as well. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.